My dear friends, have you ever paused and wondered, is this really the life I wanted? So often, we wake up every morning rushing, reacting, running, but rarely reflecting. We work hard to make a living, but forget to design a life. Life is not meant to be something that just happens to us. It's meant to be something we create intentionally, beautifully, and purposefully. And today, let's walk together through 10 steps that can help you design the life you actually want. Before designing your life, you must know the foundation it's built on. Ask yourself, what matters most to me? Money, family, freedom, growth. When you identify your values, your decisions stop being random, they start becoming aligned. The fastest way to lose joy is to compare your life with someone else's highlight reel. Your journey is yours, perfectly tailored for your growth. The moment you stop competing, you start creating. Close your eyes and picture it. What does your perfect day look like? Who are you with? What are you doing? How do you feel? Visualization isn't daydreaming. It's designing. When you can see it clearly, you can start to build it practically. We often think we need more to be happy. But sometimes, happiness begins when we start removing, not adding. Simplify your commitments, your space, and your thoughts. Simplicity brings clarity, and clarity brings peace. Dreams don't work unless we do. Every meaningful life design rests on daily habits. Whether it's reading, meditating, exercising, or learning, discipline turns vision into reality. You are the average of the company you keep. Spend time with people who challenge your comfort, not your confidence. Find those who lift you higher when you doubt yourself. To design a better future, you must release the weight of the past. Forgive people who never apologize. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know then. Freedom doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. The more grateful you are, the more beautiful your life becomes. Gratitude transforms ordinary days into blessings and turns what we have into enough. Start your mornings with thank you, and life will thank you back. True fulfillment begins when life stops being only about you. When you use your time, talent, or words to serve others, your purpose unfolds naturally. Service gives meaning to success. In the chaos of chasing dreams, don't lose your connection with the deeper you. Prayer, reflection, or silence, whatever your practice is, stay connected to something higher. That connection will guide your direction. Before designing the life you want, you must know what truly matters to you. This is where most people go wrong. They chase what the world tells them to want rather than what their heart genuinely desires. We live in a time where success is defined by the size of our house, the brand of our clothes, and the number of followers we have. But if we pause for a moment and listen closely to our inner voice, we may realize that what we truly value might be far simpler and far deeper. It could be peace over possessions, love over luxury, or purpose over popularity. To define your values means to step away from the noise of the world and ask yourself, What makes my soul feel alive? What, if taken away, would make my life feel empty? When you identify your values, you begin to see why certain things drain you and others energize you. A person who values freedom will feel suffocated in a rigid routine, while someone who values stability might feel anxious in constant change. Knowing this helps you design a life that fits you, not a borrowed version of success. Without defined values, we build lives that may look impressive on the outside, but feel hollow on the inside. We end up climbing the ladder of success only to find it leaning against the wrong wall. Values act as that internal compass, quietly guiding you through every crossroad and choice. Defining your values requires honest reflection. Sit with yourself in silence. Think about moments when you felt most fulfilled. What were you doing? Who were you with? Those moments often hold clues to what you value most. Maybe you felt alive while helping someone, or peaceful while spending time in nature, or inspired when you were learning something new. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of your deeper values speaking through your experiences. Write them down, define them, and revisit them often. Once you know your values, decision making becomes clearer. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying no to things that don't align with who you are. For example, if you value family but spend all your time chasing money, there will always be a silent conflict within. If you value honesty but surround yourself with people who lie for convenience, you'll feel out of place. When your actions and your values align, life feels harmonious. When they don't, you live in quiet conflict. Designing a meaningful life starts here, with values. Because values are not goals, goals change with age, but values stay constant. A person may shift from wanting a job promotion to starting their own business. But if their core value is growth, both decisions align perfectly. When you build your goals upon your values, every step you take feels authentic and fulfilling. Ultimately, defining what you truly value is not about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to yourself. It's peeling away layers of expectation, fear, and societal pressure until you rediscover who you've always been. And from that place of clarity, every choice you make, every path you take, and every dream you chase begins to make sense. That's how you start designing not just a successful life, but a meaningful one. One of the greatest thieves of joy in our modern world is comparison. We live in an age where everyone's life is displayed in highlights, polished pictures, filtered smiles, and perfect moments captured for the world to see. And without realizing it, we begin to measure our worth against these fragments of someone else's story. We start to feel that our life isn't good enough, our achievements aren't big enough, and our pace isn't fast enough. The truth, however, is that comparison blinds us to the beauty of our own journey. It makes us forget that each person's path is uniquely designed for their own growth, not for competition. When you constantly compare yourself to others, You rob yourself of peace and authenticity. You start living not to fulfill your purpose, but to match someone else's version of success. It's like running a marathon where you keep looking sideways at others' progress instead of focusing on your own steps. You end up exhausted, distracted, and directionless. The tragedy of comparison is that it shifts your focus from who am I becoming to how do I measure up? And that shift is where true happiness begins to fade. The irony is that comparison always shows you what you lack, never what you have. You might have a loving family, supportive friends, or talents that make a real difference. Yet you feel incomplete because someone else seems to have more. You compare your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, forgetting that every life has its unseen struggles. The person you envy might be battling loneliness, pressure, or pain behind their smile. Everyone carries burdens pictures don't show and words don't reveal. When you realize this, compassion replaces competition. Breaking free from comparison doesn't mean you stop admiring others. It means you stop defining yourself through them. It means you celebrate other people's success without questioning your own worth. You can cheer for others and still run your race with confidence. Growth doesn't need to be a competition. It can be a celebration. The real power lies in shifting your focus inward. Ask yourself, am I better than I was yesterday? That's the only comparison that leads to growth. Your journey is not meant to mirror anyone else's. It's designed for your personal transformation. You might be taking longer than others, but that doesn't mean you're behind. It means your path requires deeper lessons, greater strength, or more patience. Trust that your timing has a reason. Gratitude is one of the best antidotes to comparison. When you count your blessings, you start seeing abundance instead of absence. You begin to appreciate what you already have rather than mourn what you don't. Each time you feel the urge to compare, shift your attention to something good in your life. A lesson learned, a small victory, a quiet moment of peace. Gratitude grounds you in contentment, while comparison keeps you chasing illusions. At its heart, comparison is a sign of forgetting who you truly are. You are not meant to be a copy of anyone. You are a one of a kind creation with a purpose that no one else can fulfill. The day you stop comparing yourself to others, you reclaim your energy to build, grow, and live authentically. You stop trying to be better than someone else and start working on being the best version of yourself. That is where confidence is born, not from proving your worth to the world but from knowing that your worth was never in question to begin with. Before you can design the life you truly want, you must be able to see it. Visualization is not mere fantasy. It's a mental blueprint of the reality you wish to build. Every great creation begins twice, first in the mind, then in the world. If you can see it clearly in your imagination, you can start shaping it intentionally in your actions. Visualization gives direction to your dreams. It helps you clarify what you really want instead of what you think you should want. It's about closing your eyes and picturing in vivid detail the life that would make your soul feel alive. Take a quiet moment to imagine your ideal day from sunrise to sunset. Where do you wake up? What do you see outside your window? Who are you with? What kind of work are you doing? How do you feel throughout the day? Peaceful, excited, purposeful. Visualization helps you uncover the deeper desires that words can't always express. You might realize that what you truly seek isn't luxury or fame, but freedom, balance, or meaningful relationships. The mind has a powerful way of revealing truths when you let it wander without limits. When you visualize regularly, your mind starts believing in possibilities that once seemed distant. The subconscious doesn't differentiate between imagination and reality. It reacts emotionally to both. That's why athletes rehearse their performance in their minds, and successful leaders often see their goals long before they achieve them. The more clearly you visualize your desired life, the stronger your belief in it becomes. And belief is what transforms an idea into motivation and motivation into action. However, visualization isn't just about daydreaming, it's about designing. It's a creative process with purpose. Once you've envisioned your ideal day, you can begin to reverse engineer it. Ask yourself, what needs to change in my current life for this vision to come true? Maybe it's adjusting your morning routine, setting boundaries, learning new skills, or letting go of certain habits. Visualization provides direction, discipline gives it structure. Both are essential. Sometimes people fear visualizing their dream life because it makes their current reality feel inadequate. But this process is not meant to make you dissatisfied. It's meant to awaken your potential. When you visualize with gratitude, you are not rejecting your present, you are honoring your ability to evolve. You're telling yourself, this is where I am, but this is where I'm capable of going. The goal is not escape, it's expansion. It's also important to connect your visualization with emotions. Don't just see your dream, feel it. Feel the joy of waking up to a purpose-filled morning, the peace of spending time with people who matter, the satisfaction of doing meaningful work. Emotions make the vision magnetic. When your heart and mind align, the universe begins to respond. You start noticing opportunities that were always there, but invisible to your untrained eyes. To make visualization effective, practice it daily, even for a few minutes. Find a calm space, close your eyes, and replay your ideal day in detail. Over time, your vision becomes a compass, guiding your choices, shaping your habits, and strengthening your focus. You start living more intentionally because you now have a clear picture of what you're striving for. Ultimately, visualization is about giving your dreams a face and your life a map. It's the bridge between imagination and reality. The more clearly you see your ideal day, the closer you move toward living it. You stop drifting aimlessly and begin walking with purpose. one vivid thought at a time. In a world that glorifies business, complexity has become a badge of honor. We fill our calendars with endless tasks, our homes with unnecessary possessions, and our minds with constant noise. Yet deep down, we crave peace. The truth is, the more cluttered our lives become, the harder it is to hear the voice of our own heart. Simplicity is not about having less. It's about making space for what truly matters. When you simplify your life, you begin to see clearly what adds value and what only adds weight. Most people mistake being productive for being purposeful. They think doing more means achieving more, but often it's the opposite. Doing less with intention brings far greater fulfillment than doing more without meaning. Simplicity invites clarity. When you stop trying to do everything, you finally have the time and energy to do the right things. Imagine your life as a garden. If you keep planting too many seeds, nothing grows fully. But if you plant only what matters and nurture it carefully, your life begins to flourish. Simplifying your life starts with awareness. Look at your daily routine, your commitments, your possessions, and even your thoughts. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Does this add peace to my life? Or does it create pressure? Many of us live surrounded by things that no longer serve us, whether it's physical clutter or emotional baggage. We hold on to items, relationships, and responsibilities out of habit, fear, or guilt. But every unnecessary thing you carry takes up space that could be filled with something meaningful. Minimalism doesn't mean deprivation, it means freedom. It's choosing quality over quantity, depth over distraction, and peace over perfection. When you simplify your home, you create space to breathe. When you simplify your schedule, you create time to live. When you simplify your thoughts, you create peace of mind. This process might seem uncomfortable at first, especially when you've been conditioned to believe that success means accumulation. But once you begin letting go, you'll feel lighter, calmer, and more centered. Simplicity also applies to relationships and emotions. Not everyone deserves access to your time and energy. Some people drain you with negativity or constant drama. Simplifying your circle doesn't mean cutting people off without compassion. It means being mindful of whose presence nurtures your peace and whose presence disturbs it. You can love people from a distance while still protecting your inner balance. Emotional simplicity is about choosing calmness over chaos, forgiveness over resentment, and understanding over argument. Technology, too, has complicated our lives. We're always connected but rarely present. Simplifying your life may mean disconnecting from screens to reconnect with yourself. Spend time in nature, read in silence, sit with your thoughts. The more you step away from noise, the more you hear the truth within. The peace doesn't come from adding things. It comes from appreciating the stillness that remains when everything unnecessary is removed. The beauty of simplicity is that it leads to contentment. When you stop chasing everything, you begin to notice the beauty in small things. a morning sunrise, a warm conversation, a quiet cup of tea. These are the moments we overlook when life is cluttered with more. Simplifying isn't about shrinking your life. It's about expanding your awareness of what's already good in it. It's the art of finding richness in less, satisfaction in simplicity, and happiness in harmony. When you simplify, life stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like a rhythm, peaceful, balanced, and deeply fulfilling. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. Everyone wants a better life, more peace, more success, more purpose. But very few are willing to do what it takes consistently. Dreams remain dreams, not because people lack desire, but because they lack discipline. Discipline is the quiet strength that pushes you to act when motivation fades. It is the invisible foundation behind every extraordinary life. Without discipline, even the best intentions dissolve into excuses. With it, even the smallest steps turn into remarkable progress. Cultivating daily discipline doesn't mean living a rigid or joyless life. It means designing a routine that honors your goals and values. Think of discipline as a form of self-respect. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now. Every time you wake up on time, complete a task, or resist a distraction, you're training your mind to follow through. Over time, these small victories build momentum. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Progress happens when consistency becomes more important than comfort. One of the greatest misconceptions about discipline is that it relies on willpower alone. In truth, willpower is limited, structure is what sustains you. When you design your environment to support your goals, discipline becomes easier. If you want to read more, keep books near your bed. If you want to eat healthier, keep fruits visible instead of junk food. Small environmental changes reduce temptation and increase focus. The more automated your discipline becomes, the less energy it takes to maintain it. Discipline also requires patience. In a world of instant gratification, we've forgotten the value of long-term effort. We want results today, but life doesn't work that way. Seeds take time to grow. Transformation takes time to unfold. You may not see the fruits of your discipline immediately, but trust that something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Each day of effort strengthens your roots, even when the results aren't yet visible. The person who shows up daily, even imperfectly, will always outgrow the one who waits for perfect conditions. There will be days when you don't feel like doing what you planned, and that's natural. Discipline doesn't mean you never get tired or distracted. It means you act in spite of those feelings. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't do it because you're excited about it. You do it because it's necessary. The same logic applies to meditation, exercise, studying, or any habit that contributes to your growth. When you approach your goals as non-negotiables instead of options, your mindset shifts from, I'll try to, I'll do. Discipline is also a form of emotional strength. It teaches you how to manage your impulses and align your actions with your higher purpose. It allows you to choose peace over panic, focus over frustration, and consistency over chaos. You begin to realize that freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from mastering yourself. True freedom is found in control, not indulgence. Over time, daily discipline turns into character. What once required effort becomes natural, and what once felt like a sacrifice begins to feel like joy. Discipline creates rhythm, and rhythm creates harmony. Every small act of discipline compounds into greatness. When you cultivate it with sincerity, life stops being accidental. It becomes intentional, productive, and deeply meaningful. The company you keep shapes the direction of your life more than you realize. The people around you can either nurture your potential or drain your purpose. They can either lift you higher or keep you grounded in self-doubt. Human beings are deeply influenced by their environment, and that includes emotional and mental environments too. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded people doesn't mean seeking perfection. It means choosing those who inspire you to become the best version of yourself. It means being around those who remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself. Every conversation, every interaction leaves an imprint on your mind. When you consistently spend time with people who complain, criticize, or gossip, you unconsciously begin to absorb that energy. Negativity spreads quietly but powerfully. It influences your thoughts, your mood, and even your sense of possibility. On the other hand, being around those who focus on growth, learning, and gratitude fills you with hope and motivation. You begin to think bigger, act bolder, and believe deeper. The right people don't just inspire you, they hold you accountable. They don't let you settle for mediocrity when they know you are capable of greatness. A growth-minded person isn't someone who has it all figured out. They are someone who is constantly evolving. They are learners, not complainers. They face challenges with curiosity, not fear. When you spend time with such individuals, you begin to mirror their mindset. Their optimism becomes contagious, their discipline becomes inspiring, and their belief in possibilities begins to awaken your own. This is why community matters. Growth is faster and stronger when it's shared. It's important to remember that not everyone you love will align with your growth. And that's okay. Some people are meant to be chapters, not lifelong companions. It takes courage to distance yourself from energy that no longer serves your peace. Even when it comes from familiar faces, letting go doesn't mean arrogance. It means awareness. You can wish people well and still choose to protect your mental space. When you remove negativity, you create room for inspiration. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded people also means being one yourself. It's not enough to seek support. You must offer it too. Be the kind of person who listens without judgment, encourages without envy, and helps without expectation. When you pour positivity into others, you attract it back into your own life. Growth isn't just about personal achievement. It's about collective elevation. When one person rises, they create a ripple effect that lifts others too. Sometimes, your circle of growth-minded people won't be physical. It might come from books, mentors, podcasts, or communities you've never met in person. The voices you listen to daily become part of your mental company. Choose wisely. What you feed your mind becomes the foundation of your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your destiny. If you constantly surround yourself with wisdom, you naturally develop clarity and confidence. Growth-minded people see potential where others see limitation. They remind you that failure isn't final, that discomfort is part of progress, and that every setback is preparing you for something greater. Their energy fuels your persistence. When you walk with such people, you start believing that growth isn't a phase, it's a way of life. And as you evolve together, you realize that true companionship is not about who you've known the longest, but about who helps you become your truest self. Letting go is one of the most difficult yet powerful lessons in life. We often hold on to things long after they've served their purpose. Relationships, grudges, regrets, identities, and even dreams that no longer fit who we've become. We cling because holding on feels safe. It gives us a sense of control, even if it's painful. But true peace begins when we release what no longer serves our growth. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it's an act of strength, courage, and self-respect. It's choosing healing over hurt, freedom over fear, and acceptance over attachment. We hold on because our minds crave certainty. We fear the unknown more than the discomfort we already know. But life constantly asks us to flow, to change, to evolve, and evolution is impossible without release. Imagine trying to sail while still anchored to the shore. No matter how hard you row, you won't move forward. Similarly, clinging to the past keeps you stuck in emotional stillness. You can't create a new story while rereading the same chapter over and over again. Letting go is not about forgetting, it's about freeing yourself from the weight of what you cannot change. One of the hardest things to let go of is hurt. We replay painful memories, thinking that by holding on to them, we're protecting ourselves. But in truth, holding on only keeps the wound open. Forgiveness is the medicine of letting go. It doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you refuse to let it control you any longer. Forgiving others and yourself doesn't erase the past. It releases its power over your present. You begin to see that resentment chains you to the very pain you wish to escape. Freedom is found not in revenge, but in release. Letting go also applies to expectations. We expect people to act a certain way, life to unfold in a specific pattern, or success to arrive on our timeline. And when it doesn't, we suffer. The root of disappointment often lies in the gap between reality and expectation. When you learn to accept life as it is, not as you wish it to be, peace naturally follows. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding that everything happens for your growth even if it doesn't align with your plans. Sometimes, you also need to let go of your old self. The person you were yesterday might not be capable of carrying you into tomorrow. Growth requires shedding old identities, beliefs, and patterns. You cannot step into your future while clinging to who you used to be. It's okay to outgrow certain versions of yourself. It means you're evolving. Each stage of life demands a different version of you, and letting go allows that transformation to unfold gracefully. The process of letting go isn't instant, it's gradual. Some days you'll feel free. Other days you'll feel the pull of old attachments. But each time you choose peace over pain, release over resistance, you reclaim a piece of your power. Letting go is not about losing, it's about making space. When your hands are no longer full of what's gone, they become open to receive what's meant for you. The beauty of life is that it keeps moving forward, inviting you to do the same. When you finally let go, you don't fall, you rise. You rise into clarity, calmness, and the freedom to create anew. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most transformative practices you can cultivate. It is the art of noticing and appreciating the good in your life, no matter how small. Most of us move through our days focused on what we lack, what hasn't happened, what went wrong, or what we wish we had. This focus on scarcity keeps us restless, anxious, and discontented. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifts our attention to abundance. It trains the mind to see opportunities instead of obstacles, blessings instead of burdens, and progress instead of problems. Practicing gratitude daily is not about denying life's difficulties. Life will always have challenges, pain, and setbacks. But gratitude gives you the perspective to navigate these moments without losing yourself. It reminds you that even in struggle, there is something to be thankful for. A lesson learned, a strength discovered, or support received. The simple act of acknowledging these small positives rewires your mind to focus on what is present and valuable rather than dwelling on what is missing. A powerful way to practice gratitude is to start each day intentionally. Before you even get out of bed, take a moment to think of 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be monumental. They can be as simple as a warm bed, a loving family, or a cup of tea that starts your morning. Over time, this habit shifts your mindset. You begin to notice the beauty that is always around you but often overlooked. The smile of a stranger, the fragrance of a flower, the comfort of clean water. These small moments, when appreciated, accumulate into a deep sense of contentment. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you express appreciation to those around you, it deepens connections and fosters mutual respect. A simple thank you can transform a relationship, making others feel valued and understood. By recognizing the contributions of others, you not only uplift them but also cultivate humility within yourself. Gratitude is not self-centered. It expands your awareness to the interdependence that makes life rich and meaningful. Another aspect of gratitude is reflection. At the end of the day, consider the events, people, and moments you are thankful for. Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Writing down what you appreciate reinforces your focus on abundance and allows you to revisit these positive moments when life feels heavy. The more you practice reflection, the more naturally gratitude becomes a part of your daily life rather than a forced exercise. Gratitude also reshapes how you perceive challenges. When difficulties arise, a grateful mindset asks, "What can I learn from this?" rather than, "Why is this happening to me?" It turns obstacles into lessons and setbacks into stepping stones. Even the smallest shift in perspective can lead to profound changes in your emotional and mental well-being. Gratitude doesn't remove challenges, but it transforms your experience of them. Finally, practicing gratitude daily nurtures joy from within. Happiness is often mistaken for external circumstances, wealth, success, or recognition. But real joy comes from recognizing and appreciating what you already have. Gratitude is the bridge between sufficiency and contentment. It allows you to live fully in the present, instead of endlessly chasing future desires. When you cultivate gratitude, life becomes richer, brighter, and more meaningful, simply because you are noticing the good that has always been there. Gratitude is not a habit to practice occasionally. It is a lens through which you can view every moment of your life. When practiced consistently, it changes the way you think, act, and experience the world. It turns ordinary moments into blessings, struggles into lessons, and life itself into a gift worth celebrating every single day.